Hi guys, and welcome to this market update on Bitcoin. Yeah, as you can see, we just saw a major pump from about 47K to about 55K. This is a significant development. I'm going to talk about what I think could happen in the near future. Yeah, let's dive right into it. So, as with our first update, this is a second one, so I'm still pretty new to this. Excuse me if I'm a little bit slow and unstructured. I have to find a good structure for this kind of update. However, I want to start off by drawing some levels again. This is a good practice, by the way. So if you're still learning TA, and if you're new to TA, you might want to start drawing levels on a clean chart like this. So I'm going to do exactly that, and the most important level on this chart right now is probably somewhere around here, as you can see, because it was this very significant resistance over here after this major pump. We found support on it. We found support on it even after flash crashing down. This move got caught exactly at this level. We found resistance at it when we grinded, or when Bitcoin grinded through it, and it found support on it back here. So it was kind of a center of gravity over here, and then Bitcoin went on this kind of rally here, finally coming back to it and finding support once again. So this is a very important level, and this is the first one we want to look at. I drew this last time already, and I told you it was a significant one. So here you can see how it actually reacted, or how price reacted to it in a bullish way. It doesn't necessarily mean this is the bottom, but it means it is a very, very significant level, and we can expect this entire zone to be very strong support. For example, this level is the same. As you can see, it was resistance over here, support over here, support over here, support over here. So this is also a very significant level we have to look at in case Bitcoin finds its way back down again. So this would be about 45,000. We have 47,000, 45,000. This is the major support region based on these swing lows over here. And then, of course, we do also have significant levels down here in the 42K. So this entire 40K region is very, very strong support, and a lot of traders and whales know that, so they are buying, of course, the top of it already because they expect price to bounce, and this is exactly what happened here. In terms of resistances, we can look at this swing low over here. I'm going to draw this based on the candle close on the one-day chart, as you can see. So this is a very significant level right now that we can expect to represent reliable resistance. So this is around 55.7K, plus minus a few hundred, maybe, depending on the chart you're using. But this one is, it's a strong one. And what I would like to see is price coming back above this and finding support there. Or maybe the second scenario that I'm looking for is that price comes back above, falls back below, and actually forms this inverse head and shoulder structure. But this is, I don't know how likely this is at the moment. There's still a lot of downside pressure coming in, especially at the major resistance levels, such as this 55.7K, which we can expect to be very strong. Okay, let's have a look at some charts. First of all, the bull market barrier. If you don't know it, simply add it to your chart by going to the public library on TradingView and type in either my name. You can type in FireflyTA, and you will find these three indicators here you can use for free on your charts. You can also type in bull market barrier and find it there. It is basically the divider of bull and bear cycles, according to a Bollinger Band theory. So as you can see, price came back to the bull market barrier, to the very top of it, and bounced off strongly. This is a very good sign. This is what we want to see with the BNB, because when you look at what happened in the past bull run, for example, you can see that price eventually corrected multiple times, came back to the BNB, mostly or most frequently to its core, to the center line. And as you can see, we always saw strong bounces and continuation upwards from that point. So this happened in all bull runs. as you can see, except for this one where price actually grinded through and started the bear market. But this is what we can expect from the BMB. So upside pressure is nothing to be nothing surprising here. And this one was an exception because the BMB held on the monthly chart, but it got broken on the daily and weekly chart. Yeah, something like this is also possible in this bull run, of course. We might see price dipping below, doing something over here, coming back above, and then continuing the rally higher. The most important thing is that Bitcoin does not close monthly candles down here. This is what we don't want to see. This might be the confirmation or the first step towards confirmation of a bear market. So right now everything is it looks very, very good. You can see we had a very clean bounce. We didn't have any kind of daily candle close within the BMB, which is a very bullish sign for now. If you look at levels on, in addition to the BMB, you can see we had a major support confluence in this region. These are the levels I pointed out earlier as well. Yeah, this confluence was very, very obvious in this case. We talked about this last time. And yeah, it was a good place to actually look for longs. As you can see, we had this falling wedge structure over here. It was digging into the support. So what you want to do is to look for long entries down here, which is the most logical approach to this, in my opinion, but it depends on your analysis, of course. So yeah, this is it for levels. And as you can see, this is one of my scenarios I had in mind earlier. I pointed this out over here somewhere on stream. And here you can see the sell-off was much it was much stronger than I had in mind for this scenario to play out. But as you can see, as this support is currently holding, we're still within a range where we could see something like this and see re-accumulation over time. This is basically, I'm not ruling out this could happen simply because we're at the point where this structure is still weak. It is not a strong structure, and it took a few months to come here in a weak environment. So this is not simply brushed off with a dip into support and then continuation higher. Of course, it could happen in bull markets and bull runs. It's possible because the predominant or the pressure, the main pressure is up. So of course we could see upside continuation anytime. However, in this case, I think we will need a little bit more time to regain some strength, because it took too long to get there in this weak structure. So it will probably remain weaker and not become super strong right away after dipping to the next swing low over here. Yeah, but we will have to see what happens in the next days. It could also continue down and invalidate the scenario. So we could actually see a move like this to the BMB core at 45 or even 43, and this is something that could happen, because as you can see, we broke market structure here, and yeah, this could be a bearish retest of broken support. And if there is a strong rejection at 55, 56, for example, or 60K, we might see a sharp move down once again. So this is not out of the question, especially when you consider the fact that we might be an ABC correction. This would be the A, B, and then we could still see a C move down to, for example, in the mid 40 or lower 40Ks. This is very much in play here, and yeah, we have to keep our eyes open and observe how this plays out here. Once bulls show weakness and bears start rejecting price very, very strongly at 55, 56 or higher, then we should look closely at that and observe if bulls can hold the support levels that they gained. If not, it's a big warning sign. So this is my chart that shows, first of all, an EMA ribbon on the 12-hour chart, for example, but it's using 6-hour data and 3-hour data. So this is, as you can see, we have an EMA ribbon carrying price in a trend. And now it is broken, it got retested in a bearish way. We found support on this volume-weighted moving average 200 on 12-hour, which is the 100 on 1 day. It is a very significant entity I'm looking at for midterm developments, and as you can see, we found support in this region, so it added to the overall confidence we had in this region. We saw a bounce, and now we're approaching this resistance zone. So even if this bounce is very strong, we can still expect the major resistance to be strong, and we can expect bulls to have a hard time over here. So we have to carefully look at what bulls do in this area. Can they regain 56 easily, or do they will we see a rejection over here? Then it will be about, will this be some kind of inverse head and shoulder structure with finding support somewhere over here, for example, or will we come back to these entities down here, bull market barrier again, which is also rising, or will we continue lower? This is the question, and we will see first clues, and we will see warning signs once we see how bulls how strong bulls are at 55, 56. Then again, we have this is a structure that I drew earlier. I thought whenever you see something like this, where you have a very clear trend line, and then we have a very we have an internal trend line that makes sense, and that there's a certain distance. It is easy to based on these two, to draw the third one and get a channel structure. So even when you just get one data point here that confirms there might be something, this structure is still there, is already there because of these two lines that already make sense. So you can predict, or you can actually see there will be support in this area based on the structure. And as you can see, it played out very well. So now the question is, can bulls generate momentum and approach this center internal trend line over here and possibly gain support on it? If this happens, it is a highly bullish development. But if we see a rejection earlier, before actually visiting this internal trend line, it's a warning sign, a huge warning sign. If we go there and reject, it's pretty neutral to me. We will see what happens. I mean, it happened here too. We saw rejection at this center trend line, and then it finally, after making some W structure here, it went above. So this is also a scenario we have to keep in mind, which could play out here. Let's go on. Here you can see my adaptive range indicator. It's also free on TradingView. Search for my name, you can check it out. Check out my quick TA session on dynamic ranges, which is in which I explain this indicator. Here you can see before making this bottom, we had a dip into this adaptive super range, the yellow one, and it was also where the bands, the support and resistance bands, in this case, the support bands crossed the adaptive super range. It is a point of interest for us where we can expect some bullish momentum to be generated here. And it happened. And as I told you last time, this center of gravity is pulling price back to it. So it was only a matter of time until we see this kind of move to this entity, and it happened exactly like that. So now we're the price is actually using it as the local center of gravity and floating around it like this. This is very, very normal, and it is a sign that we are seeing neutral behavior in price right now. Now price is trying to detach from the center of gravity and try to move upwards. It will be interesting to see if bulls succeed in doing that, for example, with a parabola like this, or if they fail and come back to it. This is something that you can observe by yourself. Once we fall back below and we detach to the downside, it's the warning sign. It's the signal that we might be testing lower again. On the higher time frames, you can see this is the 4-hour chart. You can see we switched the channel. We were in the lower half all the time in this downtrend, and now we are back in the upper half over here. But we are barely holding this. So we have to see, is there strength or is there weakness, and do we fall below? This is the exact same logic. If we fall below this and we enter this zone again, we have to be careful of potential sharp moves down. This is my Fib chart I explained last time. As you can see, we tested the 2618 exactly. It was tested already over here, but we got a second test. It's actually a very bullish one. These levels are very significant, very reliable. I highly recommend to use them. It's basically the bull market tops and bear market bottoms connected by Fib retracement and trend-based Fib extensions, and you get, by using these levels, the 1618, 2, 26183, and 3618. These are the most important levels you can get, in my opinion, when you look at long-term developments. And as you can see, the structure makes total sense. This was not unexpected. Maybe this kind of move was a little bit stronger than expected, but a bounce here was not unexpected. So it was certainly possible to place long orders here together with the confluence we have on the other charts. As you can see, there are levels, the swing low levels, the bull market barrier, the range bottom. All this adds to the overall confluence that we will see a bounce here, and it happened. So based on this chart, we might see an attempt. It could be that we will see a sharp move up to this region, and there we will face very strong resistance, and we are in danger of making a higher low, not a higher low, a lower high over here, which would be a kind of a warning sign too, because we often see in bull market environments, when we are in a topping region, we often see sharp move down, sharp move up with a lower high, and then down again. So be careful of that. But right now it's not looking bad yet. We have to wait a few days how this plays out. These are the log growth curves. You can see that price is trying to hold this 618 growth curve here after it was rejected at the 768 growth curve over there. So it's now actually trapped within these two. You can add this indicator by going to the public library and use this one that has 3.7K likes. Then you can see, especially on the lower time frames, you can see how precisely, how accurately price is interacting with these growth curves. Here you can see we recently confirmed support on this 618 curve, and then we found some more momentum to go up there. There's also here, it was the center of gravity over here. As you can see, price used it as support and resistance the same, and this is very, very common for extremely strong support and resistance entities like this. So price starts floating around them. This could happen here as well. As you can see, we are already floating around it. So we could see a move higher, then come back, test it as support, go back lower. We could stay here in this region for a while. This is very, very possible. Regarding the bull diff, it actually played out. Bull diff is very reliable, especially when you have something like this, a very strong bull diff structure like this, forming a bottom over here, which was the sign that we are near a master bounce. I talked about this on Twitter and on stream. Not unexpected at all. Tradable move, and whenever in doubt, look at bull diff and bear diff. This is very interesting. Right now, if this were to continue to pump like this, for example, if we go here and RSI would exceed this recent low over here, we would have hidden bear diff. So this could happen. We have lower high on price. We have a higher high on RSI. So this would be the hidden bearish divergence we have to be careful of. So keep this in mind when looking at bounces in a downtrend. We are in a downtrend here. So if we see a bounce, look at this. If this trend actually, what you see here with the hidden bull diff can of course play out here with the hidden bear diff as well. So be careful of that. In terms of market structure, this is a very simple representation of the market structure I'm looking at. It's basically our weekly trend line. It got broken. We saw a very sharp move down. Now we are seeing a sharp move up, but it's still 5 days, 14 hours until the next weekly close. So a lot can happen until then. However, if it was to stay, if it would keep like that, if we close a weekly at around 54.6, for example, this kind of structure would imply or would indicate that we are about to see strength, because in this case, what we expect is a move lower. If this move lower is caught at the first support levels there are, for example here, if this move lower is caught at the first support we have, it is a very, very bullish sign, and we will probably see continuation up. This is the rule, but it's still 5 days, 14 hours. So we have to keep an eye on that. A bullish close would certainly be very helpful in finding a bottom here and go up further. However, if we see a wick here and maybe a close in this region, or even lower, yeah, this would basically mean that we are in a very firm downtrend, and we will have to look at support levels in this region. Then this is a new chart I'm actually using on stream. This is the 200-week moving average multiplied by 5. This is the upper band. As you can see, I converted this to a 1 day, length 730, multiple 5. I'm using a SMA multiple indicator here. You can see that it was very, very important resistance in the previous bull run. It is also important resistance in the current bull run. The lower band here is the multiple 3. And this is, yeah, it was, here we had a failed breakout here, but it was essentially support. And it is very important support right now. It's actually, yeah, it's at the same spot where the BMB is currently. So very interesting confluence over here, as you can see with this bounce. And this bottom of this pullback from 42K to 29. Yeah, it's a nice thing to watch. And if we break this to the downside and confirm it as resistance, we can expect downside pressure. Then on the lower time frames, we can see that price is currently trying to break this anchored VWAP from the swing top here, swing high. Yeah, the swing high from about 13 days ago. So as you can see, these kind of anchored VWAPs are very, very significant and reliable support and resistance entities, and they basically tell you when we can expect the trend, the local trend, the lower time frame trend to change. Have a look at my session on analyzing dips. I'm using this tool over there, and yeah, you will learn how to use it yourself. So if we were to get above, you can see the orange levels are resistance levels here, high volume nodes in this area. If price can achieve these orange levels as well as the anchored VWAP, find support on it, it will probably attack this downtrend line. But as you can see, this entire region is very strong resistance, so it will be interesting to see if price can get above, for example, 56 to 57 and find support on 55. This is what we want to see to confirm that this can bounce much higher, and it will probably attack the 60K. So this is what we want to see. As long as price is below this area, as long as price is below 55.7, there's a high risk of falling back down. So yeah, be careful. But right now, as you can see, price is very strong. The trend, the local uptrend here on the lower time frames is very, very strong. We had this ascending broadening wedge over here. Let me show you this bearish structure. We had this bearish structure, and it got invalidated, and price is still attacking. So this is a bullish sign. We want to see how this plays out further. Also, one thing is, if we were to come back down here, there's this anchored VWAP from one of the previous swing lows, and as you can see, it is the divider, the neckline of this structure over here. So we could expect a retest of this entity. It is very stable at around 51. So 51 is a level to watch. So this is a different version of Cloudy, my Cloudy indicator. And as you can see, just to show you how the dynamics are with this indicator, in our uptrend, we had these dips into the clouds, buyback, found support on the clouds, confirmed it, and then went up. This happened here, here, it happened here, but as you can see, the resistance clouds, the space between support and resistance became narrower by the day, and the price was under pressure and it was pressed down out of this zone. But it never left the range support over here. So these clouds represent dynamic range support. Let me zoom in a bit. And here you can see that as long as this range support is not broken, it is still very firm support. And we never left this cloud. Instead, price actually managed to make a bottom here and get back above. So now what we want to see, if this momentum that is still here because of this downtrend, if this momentum will press price down again and make it retest this region, we want to see confirmation of support on top of the clouds. You can track this on my stream. I will show this chart on stream, and you can observe for yourself if we can hold these levels or not. One thing to mention here is that when you look at the previous developments after we had a massive bounce like this, price didn't, it came back to test over here, for example. Then we had a very strong move here, and it came back a little later to test this area. This could happen here as well. We have this region, and if price would run out of momentum over here and fail at the 56, 57, it could come back down and test this 51K region, for example. This is the most likely case, in my opinion, that could play out if we get rejected at these levels. Of course, it is also possible to do a dead cat bounce, but I'm not sure how likely that is right now. It could play out. There's always a risk of this happening if you see a market structure break on a weekly chart and a firm downtrend. So we have to expect, this could become an ABC correction, and we have to expect further bleed down here. This is not out of the question, but at the moment, bulls are in control on the lower time frames. Now, we do also have a very interesting development on the market cap charts. As you can see, all three market caps are battling with their respective trillion mark. For example, the Bitcoin is fighting with a 1 trillion mark over here. The altcoin markets are battling with a 1 trillion mark over here. And they, of course, because both are at 1 trillion, the total market cap is at 2 trillion. So it's also battling there. Bitcoin is currently stronger than altcoins are. Bitcoin already managed to confirm support on the lower time frames here at this 1 trillion. Altcoins are still exactly at the level. They didn't manage to close above yet on the daily. Once this happens and they confirm support, total will also confirm support on the 2 trillion. And this could lead to a very strong push upwards. So keep this in mind. This is a very unpredictable situation. We could fall back below and confirm resistance and then drop very, very harshly, very sharp. But we could also confirm support with Bitcoin and altcoins on these 1 trillion marks, and then see a very, very large push. So keep an eye on that. And this is it for today. I think this is an interesting development we're seeing right now. I will probably do another update in a few days and see how this is all playing out, and so that you get a feeling for the indicators I'm showing you, the charts, the mechanics of the market. Hope this was helpful, and see you next time.